Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Business on Purpose Friday Masterclass. I'm here with Brandon, aka Donnie, and I'm here with Brent, aka Chase Reynolds, aka Daryl. Brent, what do you want to go by today? You've got so many lovely nicknames.
Well, it's Friday. I'll let you choose. Pick your poison.
All right, we'll go with Brent, and we'll be
Sounds
nice and
good.
bland. Brandon, how you doing today?
Another day in paradise, Shawn. We had a major internet outage in Bluffton, South
Major
Carolina.
meltdown. Major
Not a
meltdown today.
meltdown, an internet outage. So
Internet
but
outage.
we have acquired a new strategy and we're here, ready to go. So I'm good, Shawn.
You're ready to go. Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, one of the things, business on purpose, that we, as one of our core values, is one of actually our emeritus core values. If you've been with us before, this won't shock you. It is big wins. Begin in gratitude. We start every meeting, internal and external, with big wins. So go ahead and throw in the chat something you are grateful for. A big win in your business. It could be life. It could be anything. Shawn or Dickie, while they're putting those in the chat, why don't you give us your big win?
You know, my big win, man, Fridays I have coffee with my wife.
Oh,
We go get a coffee. I get a banana bread and she gets a biscotti, and it's just a great, we do a little, just connect time before I come to the office on Fridays, and we've done that for, I don't know, 10 years. It's
wow.
always great. So that was really good this morning. It was good to get a cup of coffee that is now empty, but nonetheless, great coffee.
Okay.
How about you, Brandon?
I love it. Man, my big win. We are expecting our third child, and we found out last week that it's going to be a girl. So I'm going to be a girl dad. I have two older boys, and I finally get to pay for a wedding. I'm so excited.
Brandon, why do you not tell me these things? Like, we should be friends. Like, you should tell me these things if we're going to be in this together.
So I told you last week, I told you Tuesday. If that's not enough,
No, you didn't tell me last week it was a girl.
Well, it's a girl. It's a baby girl.
I'm so happy for you.
Thanks, brother.
Girls are the best.
Let's read. Jim Ripper, today, 1 year anniversary. I feel like you've been with us for a while in prep. Congratulations, Jim.
Jim Ripper
awesome.
won The Price is Right down in Bluffton.
That's right. He did. He did.
Jim
DJ
Ripper,
is grateful to
legend.
be able to take his family for a mountain vacation starting Sunday. Congrats, DJ. Man, that's awesome. Nicole, Blake, and I made our first hire June 1st. Oh, grateful for the learning that came along in that first one. Man, Nicole, that's awesome. We're pumped about that. That's awesome. If y'all got big wins, or if you're just now coming in, throw them in the chat. Throw them in the chat. I'm looking through to see if there's anybody in here I can pick on to make them give us theirs. It doesn't look like anybody I know. That's okay. Vincent said we finally scheduled meetings with 3 potential major clients this week. Heck yeah, Vincent. And we're launching our new website this Sunday. Get after it. I love it. I love it.
Old Chase, you got a big win for today. Tell me something you're thankful for there, Chase.
Man, I'm thankful that DJ's getting to the mountains. He's one of my clients. I'm stoked for him. And I get to coach his wife as well, aka Dumpster Girl. And they've got a good weekend ahead of them, and they both run real hard. And so looking forward to them just being able to put it in neutral if DJ knows how to do that. So we'll see.
What's the closest mountains to Myrtle Beach?
Well, that would be, where are y'all going, DJ? Come off mute for a second. That's up near Asheville, or are you going near Blowing Rock?
Sounds great.
Yeah, we're going near Banner Elk, so Sugar and Beach Mountain. We're staying in a little cabin in Sugar Grove that my in-laws have, and then staying on Beach Mountain for a couple of days and going to a Lake Street Dive concert.
Nice.
For y'all.
Y'all gonna go get the Gamekeeper? Do you like to eat good meat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a place called the Gamekeeper up near if you take Shells Mill Road, and it's got like just bomb food.
Is it like a butcher or a restaurant?
It's a restaurant, but they've got like bison, they've got all kinds of crazy.
Listen, DJ sent me a picture of him eating kangaroo. No lie, yesterday. And it's like, that's the first time.
I'm sorry to all vegetarians.
A little redneck in me. I'd never seen kangaroo, but
I knew DJ was the kind of guy that was going to love the Gamekeeper. I just had a feeling it was right.
James, you said your grandkids are coming out from Cali, Texas. Where in Texas are you? Last question before we get started. James, you can either put it in the chat or come off mute. Where in Texas are y'all at?
Yes, sir. San Angelo, Texas. And
San Angelo.
Kids come over to California. I haven't seen them in 2 years. My wife's got a lot of health issues, so we can't travel really, and it'd be great to have them out. So
Man, that's awesome. I know I used to work with a couple people out from San Angelo. That's awesome.
Really?
Good for y'all. Good for y'all. Cool. Well, y'all, thank you for being here. Thanks for engaging with some big wins with us. I'll go ahead and say this before Shawn's going to kick us off here is you guys are here. You've bought this time. If you have not already, please mute your distractions. One, mute your microphone on Zoom, and two, like on your phone, make sure that your microphones and your phones are off as DJ jumps on a call real quick, doing a great job. But make sure that those things are off because you bought this time, and that chaos is going to quickly try to grab your attention. Trust me, the phone call and the text will still be there 30 minutes from now. So please just leave it in or leave it outside and we'll dial in. So Shawn, go for it.
Yeah, great. Thanks for those big wins. Well, as we get started, what is a financial tune-up? Well, we defined this last year. We did this class last year, had a lot of success. And one of the things we see, the biggest headache, the biggest frustration we see with business owners is money and people. And so we're going to tackle money today, specifically overhead. And so if you're like me, in your family, in your business, sometimes your checking account, sometimes your bank account feels like a bucket with holes in it, where a lot of money comes in and a lot of money goes out, and it's hard to see and it's hard to get visibility of where the money is. And do I have the cash to run the business that I need? And we're going to be solvent next week. Do we have ability to hit payroll, to pay our materials and cost of goods, subs, all of that jazz? One of the things we see is where's the money and what cash do I have to run the business? So today, Brandon's going to be talking about closing the back door of your bank account and looking at overhead. Where is the money going? Next week, I'm going to tackle forecasting, which is what we call our front door, and getting a visibility of the next 12 months of cash coming in. So that's, money coming in. And then the third week is going to be, maybe in the house. So we got the back door, the front door, in the house. What do we do with the cash? How do we have visibility of cash, which we use a level 2 dashboard, which is a very fancy balance sheet of viewing, week to week cash, week over week cash on all of our multiple bank accounts. And so if you stay with us these 3 Fridays, you're going to get radical clarity on where your cash is in your business and how you can use it to make the best decisions. So at the end of this call, we will give you an opportunity to engage with us. If you're the primary owner of your business and you've got more than 3 employees, we would love to engage with you and do a free 15-minute consult. So we will do that at the end of the call, but let's go ahead and jump in. Brandon, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, thank you, y'all. My name is Brandon, like Shawn mentioned, and Shawn and I are the host of a very prominent podcast within the podcast world.
It's worldwide.
It's called the Dickie and Donnie Show. I don't know if my mug will show it there. It's within the BOP realm. It is the two of us kind of talking about coaching, and it's a pretty high engaging. We think we're funny. I'll do a very not so.
We are funny
plug.
looking, and
right.
if you want to be our 14th and 15th listener, we'd love for you to subscribe. So thanks.
Please. We did. We just interviewed a few CEOs about different things. It's really cool. But Shawn and I have enjoyed doing some of this stuff together, and I appreciate you guys making the time to invest into your business by being here. Shawn mentioned it. We did this financial tune-up last year, and we want to reiterate, this is one of 3. One, if you take any one of these out, it will be marginally helpful for your business, but all 3 of these work together for financial clarity. I'll say this a few times, but people really want financial freedom, and the step to get there is by first getting financial clarity. So that's why we're here. BOP exists to liberate business owners from chaos so they can make time for what matters most. This is our team, and today we're going to be talking about overhead. We're going to be talking about what is overhead in the different ways. So there are 3 things we're addressing. First, exactly that. What is overhead? What is it? What is it not? We hear this term, you've been to any level of business school, this is thrown at you right away. But I learned time after time after time working with business owners all over the country, this is an unknown term. We're just going to clarify definitions. 2, what do we need to know, or why do we need to know our overhead? Why is it actually important? Can't I just continue making money and it'll figure itself out? We'll talk through that. And then the last thing we'll talk through is how do we actually calculate our overhead? How do we get this number? What do we do with it? And all of that. We'll talk through all that. So before we dive in to what overhead actually is, I want to make sure that we understand, again, what I say when I mean money. We're all talking about money. It's a financial tune-up. Why do you go into business? Sometimes it's to make change in the world, but there has to be a level of money involved. I'm not talking about wealth or a projected budget. When we say money, we're talking about cash. That's right. Actual dollars and cents, dollar bills, y'all. That's what we're talking about. So today I'm going to say money a lot, but I want you to know that I'm talking about cash, not accrual systems, but cash. And with that, money has a very specific behavior. I shared my big win that we're expecting our third child. Well, I have a 4-year-old son. And if I tell you stories about him, but don't tell you that he's 4, his behavior won't make any sense at all, right? He played with Play-Doh, then he drew for 3 seconds, and then he went and punched his brother. Well, if that's an 18-year-old man, there's an issue going on. But if that's a 4-year-old, it's a little different. So we're talking about cash, and we had to know that its behaviors are representative of that, because money has very strange behaviors. And if you want financial clarity, we have to know the 3 inescapable truths about money, right? We need to know these. So the first, very simple, a dollar is not a dollar. I know it sounds weird. A dollar is not a dollar. When you get a receivable into your business, you make some revenue. The entirety of what you make is not your dollar. You don't get all of that, right? A dollar is not simply a dollar. That leads us to the second 2 truths. A dollar out is always more than a dollar. We have to know that. We're spending money on things, we're investing in things, and we're making purchases, all these things. But a dollar out is more than a dollar. We have to know that. When you go purchase a sandwich for $9.95, do you pay $9.95? No, you pay more than that. It's always more than it looks. A dollar out is more than a dollar. We have to know that. So when we make purchases, we make them accordingly, not just, well, I have about that much money. No, we need to know what it actually means. So a dollar is not a dollar out is more than a dollar. And then lastly, a dollar in is less than a dollar. This is really unfortunate that when we spend money, it's more, and when we make it, it's less, right? That's why the back door of our business, where the money's going out of, is like a double French door going out to this beautiful infinity pool, and the breeze is just our money is leaving our businesses at a rate we've never seen before, because a dollar out is more than a dollar. But then our front door is a little mail slot. We struggle to get the money in because it's less than a dollar. If you were to go make, or if you were to deposit a receivable for $99,000, do you keep all 99,000 of that? No, you keep way, way less than that. We need to know this pattern of money, that a dollar in is less than a dollar. We work with a lot of home builders. Let's take custom home building. Let's say you have a receivable for $100,000. Wow, you look in the bank, this is great. I can buy the new truck. I can go buy this piece of equipment. Well, before we do that, we have to remember a dollar in is less than a dollar. So first, why don't we remove 80% for the cost of goods? That's our subs, our materials, our labor. Let's go ahead. We've already paid them, so we're the middleman. Okay, now I got 20 grand. Well, maybe I could buy a really small truck. Well, next, let's remove 12% for payroll. So now we're down to 8 grand. And then, well, we should also remove 2% for callbacks, mess ups, overages. And well, now we're down to 6 grand. And okay, well, we got to take our taxes and fees out because we can't go to jail. So now we're down to 4 grand. So you thought you were rich with $100,000 when really you have $4,000. This is not the kind of 4K they advertise when buying a new TV that you want, right? This is the wrong version. So I say all this to just reiterate the patterns of money. A dollar in is less than a dollar. And usually we have one bank account. We'll talk about bank accounts in week 3 of this, but we have one bank account and it just looks really good. If there's money in, we got to be making it. No, we need to have clarity over what we actually have, right? So when I mention money, this is the type of money I'm referring to. This is what I'm talking about, where a dollar out's more than a dollar and a dollar in is less than a dollar. I know I mentioned construction. By the way, that is, no matter the industry, those are the patterns that money has. We need to know that when owning businesses, right? So this first question, I told you I would be answering, what is overhead? Well, here is a definition of overhead, and it will make total sense, and then we'll go through it. Overhead is ongoing costs that a business incurs to operate, but that aren't directly related to producing the product or service. Shawn, do you mind going one more slide so they can see that? Ongoing cost that a business incurs to operate, but they're not directly related to producing a product or service, right? So what I mean by that, if you were to lose every job that you had right now, I know it's heartbreaking. You were to lose every job, what expenses would you still have to pay? Think salaries, rent, utilities, general liabilities, administrative supplies, any subscriptions, marketing, all those things, right? You go back to this definition, those are ongoing costs that you incur to operate, but none of those are directly related to the production of a product or service. That is what overhead is. So let's go back to this home builder. Things like purchasing materials or paying the roofer to complete the roof, or gas for your PMs to drive around the city to these jobs. Well, if all your jobs stop, so do those expenses. You're no longer paying the roofer. You're no longer paying for that gas, right? Those are directly tied to a job. That is not overhead. And if you're a subcontractor, then your purchases such as material, the roofing, the nails, the glue, even your 1099 labor, those are your cost of goods, right? These are cost of goods sold. COGS is what we call them. You no longer have the materials to purchase. You no longer need to pay the roofer. Your PMs aren't driving around all the time, right? Those are cost of goods sold. So we need to know the difference, because overhead is something that is going to happen regardless of the amount of work you have coming in. So it's very important to know that. Overhead is everything that you have to pay monthly or regularly, could be annual, biannual, whatever it is. But overhead is everything you have to pay monthly or regularly, regardless of your sales and your volume, because these are things we have to pay. That's what overhead expenses are. Now, I know you're like, yeah, we know that. We know that. But there's a reason we need to know the specifics of what this looks like, which goes to question 2. Why do we need to know our overhead? Well, in short, we need to know what we're working with, right? My son loves Play-Doh. Well, if he opens the jar and there's no Play-Doh, he's got nothing to work with. But if he's got a little bit, he can do a little something. If he's got a lot, he can do a lot of something. We need to know what we're working with. So I'll tell you a story about my wife and I. We were buying our first bed. We were engaged. We had not moved into a first apartment yet. We were long distance and all that. My wife's name is Popey. We were buying our first bed, right? We were trying to get all the furniture for our new apartment, and I'd never purchased a bed before. And my full-time salary was less than $30,000 a year. And I know we weren't able to allocate a lot of money to this bed. Now, we hadn't talked about how we perceive money, and there's been a lot of things there, right? But the first bed we looked at for a king bed, the price tag was $550, and I laughed out loud, and I just kept on walking.
Was it an Alaskan California King, or what was it? Like Mac Daddy bed or what?
No, actually, my fiance thought I was laughing at how cheap it was.
Oh.
And I was actually the exact opposite. I told her that our budget that I had said was $300 for a king bed. I was as stupid and delusional as all 23-year-old engaged men were, right? I was convinced that it would be cheap. And then she enlightened me. My parents are buying our bed for us as a wedding gift. My initial thought, we get gifts at our wedding. I'm not kidding. That was my initial thought. I had no idea we were getting gifts at our wedding. But having all the information is vital when making decisions, right? It's vital. Had I known that, I would have just walked past the $550 and gone to the $15,000 bed with the air conditioning in it. I wish. But having all the information is vital when making decisions financially. So as a business, how does this correlate? Well, we need to understand down to the penny what your overhead costs are, because it gives you then the ability to make good decisions with your cash, right? If I know that I'm going to have to pay $24,798 every month, well, now I can start to do things because I know, well, at bare minimum, I need to bring that in. But if we have cost of goods, I need to work backwards. I need to figure some of these things out. So let me ask this question. How do you calculate and figure out the salaries that you're going to offer a new position? Right? Let's say right now you need to hire someone new. A couple of y'all in your big ones mentioned making a hire. Well, how do you calculate or figure out the salary that you're going to offer that new position? Well, if you don't understand your current overhead cost, how are you going to be able to see what you can actually afford? Because you don't know what that's going to do to your overhead. You know it's going to bring some more in. You're going to have to pay some more in payroll every month, but you don't actually know what that's going to do. So how do you calculate that? So what you do, a lot of people, is you just go to the industry standard, ChatGPT. What does a project manager make in Upper Manhattan? And you just go with the industry expert. But now you have less money than you did before, and you didn't even know what you had prior. So let's stop this trend with business owners. Well, how do we stop the trend of just paying for things without really knowing? Well, we work backwards, right? We work backwards. I mentioned that. If you can calculate your overhead expense, then you know what the business needs to bring in at bare minimum to keep the lights on, right? At bare minimum, you know what you need to keep the lights on. So we are going to be addressing the rest of the working backwards method in next week's masterclass on forecasting out our real revenue. That is where we'll actually be working backwards, but we all need to stack hands on this. We need to know our overhead. We need to know this number because it gives us the clarity we need to now go make good and healthy decisions. You might need a new truck, but if the money doesn't allow you to buy one, you cannot get one without knowing your overhead. That is a blind decision, right? So what is overhead? Why do we need to know it? Covered. Let's get to that third question. How do we figure out our overhead? How do we figure it out? What do we do? Well, let's not make this too difficult. Let's start to think through what our monthly expenses look like, right? We asked you to bring some numbers with you. I think one of the emails asked if you didn't, that's okay. But if you did, you can pull it out. And this is the tool we use. We use this overhead tracker to help us out. I want to say on the front end, this may not capture the entirety of your overhead expenses, but that's okay. That's not the actual intent of it to capture everything. One of our unique core values at Business on Purpose is 85-15. What we mean by that is that our goal is that this tracker gives you 85% of what you need to get started. That other 15 is your effort, your energy to go in and say, well, we don't actually do this. We have this instead, or we don't buy swag, so I don't need that. But that's okay. This is not to try to force you into paying things you shouldn't pay. This is just trying to capture what are the things we're committing or have been committed to pay so we can track what our overhead amount is. All right. So we start by simply putting in all your salaries. Now you can see we break this down in many different aspects. That's a little blurry, but that's okay. We start by putting in all your salaries and we break this down because if you're paying someone $50,000 per year, well, the business, as a business owner, you're actually paying more than that. They might think I'm getting 50, but you're actually paying closer to 60, 62,000 because you have to pay the payroll taxes, the healthcare, the phone bill, workers' comp, 401k, whatever it might be. So your $50,000 salary is actually closer to a $63,000 investment as a business. So we need to account for that, right? Because that's an extra $13,000 a year, an extra $1,000 plus some change a month you need to be aware of, right?
And you know what we do, Brandon, at the end of
What-
the year, our business owner shows us the cost of what it takes to run us as an employee. And I
Yeah.
love that because it enlightens your people and helps them understand you think this is the stated, income, but this is actually what it's costing us, which is really cool to see. And as an employee, I get to see a little bit more into the business. So that just a freebie.
Yeah, that's great. I'll give you another little freebie. You can go through and you can find all this stuff. It's itemized in your payroll. A general account is whatever you are paying a salary, just multiply it by 26%. That's generally those extras, the payroll tax, healthcare, phone, workers' comp, 401k, right? All those things. Generally, it's generalized, but do like 26% for that. So you're paying someone $100,000 as a salary, just because it's easy math. You're now going to be paying them roughly 126 as a business. We need to know that number because again, a dollar out is more than a dollar. We can't just say, boom, I'm paying them, 120, that's 10,000 a month. No, it's way more than that. So we start with salaries. I saw someone in the chat ask, we're going to get this. We will include this at the end. I don't give it to you now. I used to be a teacher and I know if you hand it out early that you lost your students. So I'm not going to do that. But after we do that, let's look at rent and utilities. What's your average cost per month? We identify general liabilities. Then we look at miscellaneous items, right? We try to capture all of our administrative costs. Boom, it populates. Then let's move down to marketing and our sales expense, whether it's social media, website, SEO. Maybe you're a part of a newsletter or a newspaper, RIP to newspapers, or a magazine or whatever it might be. How do you pay monthly for marketing? Well, go ahead and put it down. We need to know that number. And if you pay once a year, just do the cost divided by 12 so we can know what we need to pay monthly. And finally, we identify the expenses for running our operations. Now, this one gets a little tricky because what is overhead and what is COGS? Remember, if your jobs stop, what would you still have to pay? That's the easiest metric to use. You lose every job, what do you stop paying? Like car payments, software fees, equipment that's not job specific, right? Now, if there's a car or a certain type of machinery you only use on jobs, then we got to think of like, well, maybe we don't count that as operating expense. Maybe that's cost of goods. Try not to get too bogged down. Simply use the filter as we start this. Use the filter of if all of our jobs stop, would I still have to pay this? If the answer is yes, it goes on this sheet. Now, I'm going to stop here and acknowledge a very real truth. There are many of you on your computers right now saying something like this. I already know my cost. I already know it. I know it. It's close enough. Well, you're either going to leave this time early or you're not going to follow through with actually taking the time if this is what you're thinking. But I want to combat that. We're a coach. Sometimes we got to push back a little bit. I would argue you don't know your numbers. You might, but you probably don't. I work with custom home builders, a custom home builder many, many states away from South Carolina. And his business generates roughly $25 million a year in total revenue. Well, the majority of that is cost of goods. 82% or so of that is cost of goods. So what he's actually bringing in to pay all this overhead is way, way less. But a lot of homeowners have that issue, right? He was losing money. We were tracking it every month and he was losing money and he did not know where it was going. I was like, hey, why did we lose 40, 50 grand this month? Like, I don't know, dude. Our numbers are exactly where we need them to be. I don't know why I'm losing money. So I asked him, what are your overhead costs? This guy's been in business a good little bit. And he thought for a second. He wrote some stuff down. He came back. He's like, it's 68,000 give or take a month. So what does give or take mean? He's like, yeah, it could be $5,000 in either direction. I'm like, okay. So it's 68. Copy that. I said, but I'm going to ask you as your coach, we're going to start doing this. And I want you to follow through this. So we dove in. The money still wasn't lining up. So I made him use our overhead tracker. And I said, I just want you to prove to me that it's between 63 and 72,000. Prove to me that it is around the 68 number. So we start going. We're filling it out. After we filled this out, the final number that he was paying every month was $129,000 a month. This is a real story. That's $41,000 a month he didn't know he had already committed to paying. He has been a business owner for more than 20 years of the same business, right? It's not like he just bought this thing and was shocked. This had been a hallucination of his that it was 68,000 a month. Well, we found the money he was losing, right? I literally yesterday, it is currently Friday, July 11th. It's 7-Eleven. It's Slurpee Day. We don't have 7-Elevens around here. Go get a Slurpee if you do. Yesterday, July 10th, 2025, I had a client that we were talking about their overhead, and he said it's about $40,000. And within 10 minutes, we already found out it was closer to 65, right? You might know your numbers, but I'd argue you don't. And going through this exercise is vital, because if you think you're paying 68 and you're really paying 129, we are not making good financial decisions. We get stuck in this race of chasing after financial freedom. We think the only way to get there is more sales, but we're neglecting the very thing that will actually get us there, which is financial clarity. So I repeat myself, even if you think you know your number, please spend 20 minutes and do this exercise. It will shock you. It will shock you, or it won't. And if it doesn't, great. That means you have clarity. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? After you fill this out, it'll add it all up for you. That number in the top right of our thing is your overhead expense. This is where we saw 129 for this home builder. So we don't often talk about this in the business world. It seems very routine. This actually seems very elementary, which is why I wanted to call out that lie of you believing you knew what this was, because it seems routine. It seems elementary. So we don't talk about it. But the reality is this number gives you wild clarity on your expenses. You might want the whole world, but if you don't have clarity, it's going to be really hard to get there. Now, that clarity will allow you to actually go set realistic sales goals. And what do I want our revenue to be? Man, if I'm spending 20 grand a month on this, that means I'm spending 240 at the end of the year, and I want to quadruple it. Great. But if you know that number, it allows you to actually set realistic goals that get you the margin and the profits you want. And these goals allow you to fine tune your profit. I can't tell you the amount of times people meet with me and they're like, I need to update my margin. I need to sharpen my margin. And the reality is they just need to know what they're already committed to paying. And then we might need to change our price, both up or down. You want financial freedom, but the only way to get there is through financial clarity. So the first step to having financial clarity is knowing what you've already committed to pay each month. That is crucial. So that leaves the question, where do we go from here? Well, Shawn's about to tell you kind of some of the stuff from here, but that's what next week is for. But we need this number for next week and forecasting to have any value. We need our overhead number. So that's what next week's for.
All right. Great job, Brandon. Really good job. I love your bed story. It's a classic Brandonism. We talk a lot about money, and money's not that important, but it is important to know how your most important thing is doing what you do in your business. And if you don't have the money, then you can't do what you need to do in business. You may be a home builder, you may be a services company, but the money allows you to do really good things in the world. And so I just want to emphasize, we talk a lot about money, but money is a neutral. It's not good or bad. It's just neutral, but it allows us to do good. So what we say often is vision without implementation is hallucination. You will be tempted to not move forward with this. And what's going to happen is you'll put this, to-do list on your check sheet, run my overhead next week. And then next week, you're going to have an incredible amount of guilt when it goes to the next week and the next week. So you've bought this time, you have blocked out this hour. We really want you to sit down and just run these numbers out. If you do, it will be radically clear. Even if you just got a cost of goods number and an overhead number, you have gone from one bank account now to two examples of money that's used for building the product and money that's used for overhead running the business. So we want you to go ahead and do this. Brandon is going to go ahead and throw this overhead tracker in the chat. And if you haven't used Google products before, you'll click the link and you'll go to File, make a copy, and you can save this directly on your Google Drive. If you're not logged into Google, it may not let you make a copy. So if you're having a hard time making a copy, it's probably because you need to be logged into some some email. We have that problem. But we're going to go ahead and build this out, and we're going to go ahead and get your monthly operating expense, because we are so convinced that if you know your numbers, you can make better decisions with your money. I have so many business owners I work with that are just throwing money at problems because they want their problems to go away without being thoughtful on where that money came from, where it needs to go to, and making good decisions. And so we can't make decisions if we have bad data. And so we want to have good data for next week to forecast cash flow. One thing we're going to offer you is that if you are the primary owner of your business, and if you're making more than $1 million in annual revenue and have 3 or more full-time employees and a desire, a hunger to get your business right and grow, we would love to offer you a free 15-minute consult directly after this. And so what we'll do is we'll release everybody to go build this tracker and run it. If you meet these 4 qualifications, we would love to meet with you. You'll just drop your email in the chat, and Brandon and I will set up a couple times at 11:30 and 11:45 to meet with y'all. I mean, we do this just because we want to help y'all and to be, we're giving you the tool. We love to give stuff away. That's our model, is to give y'all good resources to move your business forward. So
these are no strings attached.
No strings attached. Yeah, we're
this
just
is to liberate you from chaos. The purpose.
Yes. I mean, we're going to get you on the hook for something. I'm just kidding. So we would love to help you. If you meet those qualifications, please send your email along. If you don't, no problem. Here's a book that Scott wrote. He wrote this year. It is really great. And so we'd love to offer you this book for free. If you're not a contractor, that's okay. What you can do is replace the word contractor with
whatever you
XYZ, your business, and it will be completely transferable. So it's a great book on building a business that can run and grow without you. And so building processes, building systems that allow you to be liberated from chaos.
Can I say something about this book here?
You can.
Shawn? This book was written for contractors. It's for everyone. Let me wet your whistle a little bit. It's less than 100 pages, and the font is huge because we care about you and we know who you are. So don't be scared about the book. We did it for you, DJ. It's good stuff right here.
Wow, that was DJ's.
I glanced over and saw DJ cackling. So
all right, nice. So yeah, I'd love for y'all to download that book, use that QR code. Also, if you haven't taken our Healthy Business Owner Assessment, it's a quick 7-minute review of business processes, vision, mission, values, people, purpose, profit, process. We'd love for you to take that. That's a quick QR code to take that assessment. And if you have questions after that, like, hey, what's a vision story? Hey, what are core values? Hey, there's all kinds of back end work we do beyond finances, but that's a great way. So if you meet these qualifications, drop your email in there. We're going to set you up on a meeting with us, free 15-minute consult, no strings attached. There is Scott's book. Feel free to click that. And then this is the Healthy Business Owner Assessment. Next week, I will be running through forecasting. And it is one of my favorite tools to use in our business. I have done this with so many builders and contractors. And what happens is they feel immediate relief when they see the cash flow coming through. And just to tell you a funny story about this, I'll probably share this next week. I had a business owner that was $1.5 million in receivables out, and he was so strapped in cash flow. And I had another business owner, same city actually in Texas, that had the similar problem, but he was about $200,000 in receivable strapped. And I said, your only goal next week is to go collect checks. He went out and collected almost $140,000 of checks, immediately resolved so many issues. And it was just getting this visibility of where the cash flow was and needing to collect checks. So one of the favorite tools I use, forecasting, giving you stability and really freedom to do what you love to do. So we'll do that next week. Again, happy to have you guys. Thank y'all for taking the time. And if you have questions, I think Brent's on here. Brent will be here to answer a couple questions.
Yeah, and I'll say the last thing. We keep saying the last thing. If you don't fit the bill of the, making $1 million a year, have 3 full-time employees, it's not that we don't want to meet with you. We've just protected this time to meet with those people. However, both the book and that healthy business owner assessment both have ways for you to contact a coach. One of us will reach out to you and walk you through this. But right now, this time is reserved for those people. So don't take that personally. It's absolutely not that. We're just taking this time for that. So if that's what it is, great. But yeah, feel free to come off mute and ask any questions. We'll stay on for just a little bit.
Brent, it's Kathy McKinnon. Can someone help me get the link to this document?
Yeah, Kathy, can you put your email in and I'll follow up with you right after this?
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Ada says, I don't meet the requirements, but look forward to getting there. Great, Ada. Any questions you have about running your business?
I have all sorts of questions. I met with you guys at the Build Expos USA, and I have loved the way that you guys share that information. I grew up with a father who had a business and he had a lot of chaos. And I told myself, I will never be an entrepreneur, ever. And then that's the same thing that I'm trying to do right now, because it seems like the day job does not cut it. So it's, but I'm trying to do it with as lower chaos as possible. So
Awesome. What kind of business are you in?
I'm a general contractor.
Okay. Are you commercial or residential?
So I've been a commercial residential license since I was like 18 years old. I didn't utilize it back in the day. And I have realized that as a single mom with a lower middle class salary on the day job, because I still have the day job, that's not going to help me to have the greater impact that I want to have, whether it is in my community or for my own family and legacy. So I am doing about 50-50. I started with the idea of residential and I'm like, yes, I want to do affordable housing. And then I realized, oh, there could possibly not be a lot of money in that field. And the opportunities that I have received have been more for the commercial side. But I don't want to lose my vision that I wanted to get more single moms the opportunity to be able to afford a home.
Ada, I love that.
Thank
That is
you.
so great. I had a contractor I work with in California, and he is a custom home builder, builds beautiful homes, did a special project. It was a homeless, like a restoration camp to get people kind of transition housing. And he used his main business to help fund the nonprofit that did the work with building these they were like tiny homes. And he is like such a genuine guy, uses his cash well. I was so proud of him. I've started meeting with him. He was telling me this. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Why don't more businesses think about using their skills for just work beyond their, multi-million-dollar homes? And he did. And so I love that vision. I think you stay on that. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really cool. Jim Ripper, did you have a question? I saw a hand go up.
I do. So this is probably outside the scope of this, but I'll ask it anyway because I'm trying to get as many opinions as I can. So half of my revenue goes to my rent. I've got a landlord. They did all the build out of the oil change, and so they own the building, the land. I pay their insurance. I pay their taxes. I'm looking at considering the building and the properties on the market. Does anyone have any thoughts on whether it's a good, bad, or indifferent idea for me to look into purchasing a property to bring down my monthly rent expenses?
Yeah, that is a big, hairy question. I would love to hear if there's any thoughts there before I jump in. Does anybody have thoughts on experience building or buying a property instead of leasing?
Got a little experience with that, and we have been able to save some money on rent. Rent's been just going through the roof. So I mean, you got to find the right property and the right deal. But
well, it's the property that's my business is in. So I would stay where I'm at. I'd just be owning it instead of renting it from the developer.
Yeah, if that's working well for you, I would say it's a no-brainer. If it's going to cost you less to rent and maintain, cost you less to own and maintain versus rent, the banks look at it very favorably. You're getting some equity on that money instead of just, paying the landlord every month.
So you've actually done this, TJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
We bought our shop in Charleston, South Carolina. We're getting ready to buy our shop in Atlanta and Richmond as well.
Nice. DJ, did you get to depreciate those too on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's you got you got the tax benefit too at the end of the year, depreciation.
Yep.
Yeah, Jim, that's
is,
probably
is there space in there where you could lease out space to other businesses to generate revenue for yourself?
It's possible. We have 3 bays, and I could rent out one of the bays to like a detailing outfit or something like that. There's not much room in the property because it's drive-through oil change. You drive in, drive out, and there's really just room for the building and the parking. Not the parking, but the drive-through area, drive-in area.
well, Jim, that's a good, if you know your numbers, again, back to your overhead expenses, you know what your costs are. You could model a, rent versus buy. You could model out, what kind of projected revenue you need to grow to
Yeah.
support either one of those. I think
Yeah.
modeling in, is it a town that's growing in real estate and we see values appreciating? Am I get a benefit of depreciation? And
Yeah, it's
write-off?
Buford, so it's growing. And I'm waiting on my bank to get numbers from them to see what it would be, what it looks
Is
like.
Beaufort, North Carolina, or Beaufort, North Carolina?
Beaufort is north, Buford is
Beaufort,
south.
Beaufort. I should know this. I live in North Carolina. Beaufort is North Carolina. Beaufort is South Carolina.
That's right.
Both
So
sound.
I've got something to add to that with it being like an oil change place. We actually, our shop in Charleston was a automotive repair place, and we did have to do like there's an additional like environmental inspection you have to do.
Oh, I've been doing that since we started and paying for that out of my pocket. Yeah.
So as long as
Yeah,
you're
and we've been
monitoring
up and
that,
running for a year, so all that's in place. It's just a matter of putting the property in my name versus the construction developer.
I just know that when we went to buy it, if it failed the stage one inspection, so if you buy this and then you go to sell it later on, if you fail the stage one inspection, the bank won't do anything with it.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Thanks for that question, Jim. That was great. Any other questions around overhead specifically or getting view of numbers?
I have a quick question. So I am trying to fill out the template, and on the top right, it says total monthly overhead, but it seems like I may have done something wrong because I put the yearly salary for the person. Do I need to put just the monthly salary?
I think it is monthly. Yes. I
Okay.
think that's a monthly cost. I don't have it pulled up right now. Is
I'll
that
change
right?
that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
I have a quick question.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nicole. Where are you?
yeah.
Tell me where you are and what kind of business you have.
We're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and my husband Blake and I own automotive repair. And so it's been good listening to DJ and the other guys talk about it. How often or frequently do you suggest filling out this template? Like, what is reasonable so that you're not just repeating your wheels? Is it quarterly? Would you suggest?
That's a great question. Really appreciate you asking that. I would probably say quarterly just to review. I mean, that probably more than that you're going to be, depending on how often y'all are changing costs and people. But do y'all have like executive meetings or any type of rhythms of reviewing strategy, vision, finances?
It's just Blake and I as leadership goes right now. And so we do a Friday meeting that we've kind of incorporated since working with BOP. And so we're trying to get a little bit more, I guess, formal when it comes to financial review, because right now it is just kind of daily grind, but hiring someone and kind of flowing through that. But financial review is definitely something that we're trying to find more flow in.
Have y'all built an anchor yet, your team calendar to review like the
No.
rhythms? Okay, so when you get that built out, I would just
Mhm.
put a quarterly review on and put on check overhead. I'd probably, if it was me, I'd probably do a budget to actual of here's what we targeted for quarter one, here's what we ended up with. I'm pretty simple and just, are those numbers close? Yes, great, keep moving.
Okay.
If not, oh shoot, I lost some numbers there and let's figure out what went over. But yeah, quarterly's good. And then
Okay.
probably I would want to do a yearly, probably at the end of the year, and that's looking at employee costs versus, revenue generated. So say your target's $1 million or $2 million of sales per project manager. Then I would want to see, what did they sell? What did we pay them? And what, just you do some of those reviews probably in November when we
That's good.
do those. That's a great question.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for being on here.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I have a
Those are all
question.
great. Yeah, go ahead, Corey. Tell me about who are you? Where are you coming from?
I'm in Beaufort, South Carolina,
Look at that.
and
Okay.
I own a indoor vertical farm business with my family. We grow, sell, and deliver microgreens all over this area. And my question is about the book, the download that you guys mentioned. Is that specifically targeted and zeroed in on the financial side of being a business owner, or is there content in there around the mindset, limiting beliefs, things of that nature in that resource? And if there's not, is there a different resource that you would recommend?
Okay, great question. So the book is more broad. It's going to hit our 4 foundations, which are purpose, people, process, and profit. And so it's going to hit tools and general kind of thoughts on all of those things, on how to build the foundations of a business and what it requires. We talk a lot about rhythms and processes.
Sure.
Then you mentioned limiting beliefs. Tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for, and I can tell you if that's the right book or not.
Well, we've been in business 2 years, and we're heading in the right direction. I was able to quit my day job and do this full time.
Awesome.
But I don't have any employees other than my wife and kids. But I'm constantly going back and forth between which marketing strategy I should employ, where should I invest.
Oh, I lose you?
I think you got muted.
I think we lost him.
Time,
Beaufort does not have good internet service, is my guess.
how to build out my
Sounded like
Corey,
a great story that I would have benefited from. So
I was in it. I was ready to go, and then cut out. Corey, what I'd say is
my time more efficiently and to hear you guys.
Oh, I think you're back. So I think what I heard you say is my marketing strategy working? Are we doing the right things? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so like we think a lot about vision story, and that's a multi-page document that we've detailed. We've talked about, what I want for my life, what I want for my finances, what are my targets, who are my people, what's my culture, really thinking through a future state of the business. And so if I think about my business 1, 2, or 3 years out, like I may currently be in chaos, I may currently be in stressful finances, but I'm building this business to not be there. And so I'm looking for a future state. Once I know that future state, I can build and plan and process out what it looks like to get there. And so what we do is really get a little bit idealistic and dreamy. Hey, where are we going? Where does this need to be? So we're not stuck in the day-to-day weeds, and then we can build out what it's going to take to get there. That could be a couple phases. That could be, maybe hiring certain people along the way. So you mentioned, your family is helping run, but what would it look like to expand into, okay, we're going to look at another city. We want to look at another operator run part of the business. I think all building that and architecting that then allows me to make decisions based on how to get there. So I'd probably say getting a clear vision of where you want to be in the future, kind of expand your mind beyond what you see now. Too many times with business owners I see, well, I can't do this because this doesn't work, and I don't want to do this, and this doesn't work, and I have to get them above the maze, above the day-to-day to see, yeah, but where could you go and really expand your opportunity to grow it. And that's some of the best entrepreneurs we work with are the people that are almost otherworldly in believing there's something really beyond what I see in the present that we're going to move towards.
Very good.
Do you have any specific kind of dreams or goals in the next couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. We are leasing 3.5-acre property on the outskirts of town. We'd like to buy the property. I'd like to build a professional growing facility on the property, which would at least quadruple our growing capacity for the crops that we grow indoors, and I believe that would allow for at least one full-time employee if I had that facility up and running, and I'd also like to build a house on that property, a new house, and build out a business that is being ran by others for the most part. That also something my children could take over if they wanted to.
Awesome. That's a clear 2 to 3 year vision to build out a facility that's 4 times the size. And then you've got even a plan to bring on a full-time operator. I love that. Once I know that, I can consider hiring the right person that would be that operator. So I can think about, what's the skill set? What are my core values? What drives us? Those are all, we always say this, if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. So a lot of times our business owners have things in their head, just bouncing around. It's ideas. Once you write those down, that becomes tangible and I can do something with that. So I'd encourage you to write this down, put a date on it, start architecting and working towards building that outcome. But that's awesome.
Very good. Thank you.
Well, I got time for one last question. If anybody has a last question, happy to answer it.
I have a quick question. I know that you guys have webinars on a regular basis. I have not tapped onto all of those webinars, but you normally have a lot of like Excel sheets and things like that that we are able to utilize. If I go to YouTube and watch those videos, would I be able to get a hand on those forms that you have talked to in the session?
Yeah, we give away almost all of our tools. And if you go to the book, Ada, if you download that book, I believe there are templates in there that you can run, whether that's vision, strategy, core values, hiring, anything around running the business. So there's templates in there. If there's specific ones you have a question about, just you send me an email. It's Shawn, SHAWN, at businessonpurpose.com. And I'm happy to send you, if there's something specific you'd want, I can make a copy and send it your way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shawn.
Ada, where are you in North Carolina?
I'm in Charlotte.
I'm in Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Where are you in Charlotte?
So I am in West Charlotte, close to the Whitewater Center.
I love the Whitewater Center. That
I've
is
been here
awesome.
for 4.5 years and I have yet to go to the Whitewater Center and I'm 5 minutes away. But
Oh my
it's my
gosh.
mission to go this summer.
Okay, you gonna do some rafting and do some ropes courses?
Probably not. I'm probably just gonna go do a regular small walk.
Okay, I love that. That is awesome. Well, that's so cool, man. It's good to meet a neighbor.
Thank you. Same here.
Okay. Well, y'all have a great Friday, and we'll be here next Friday at 11. I'll be talking about forecasting, and so I would please download that overhead tracker, run your numbers, because next week we're gonna dig right in. So y'all have a great
Somebody had a
Friday.
question in the chat, just so you know. Somebody said the book download appears to be an audiobook. Is there a PDF format as well?
There is a PDF format. I was thinking that was the PDF. If y'all want to email me, I'm happy to send the PDF out. We've got that as well. Shawn, SHAWN. Actually, let me put that in the chat. It'll just be easier. At businessonpurpose.com. Purpose.com. And I can send you all the PDF. Some people like audio, some people like PDF.
I like both.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, y'all have a great Friday. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.